to speak on this bill. Thank you.
Speaker. I call the honourable member Chris Ockenbaum.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Misuse of Drugs Amendment Bill. Mr. Speaker, we used to be taught that the root of all evil was money, but I honestly think nowadays there'd be a general consensus that the root of all evil, particularly in this country, is drugs. The horror of P. Like the previous speaker, who I listened to carefully, I didn't have the opportunity to serve on the select committee, so missed the very significant submissions that were made. I've caught up with some of them through the system, but I'll only be taking a short call, Mr. Speaker. But the brevity shouldn't in any way indicate a lack of commitment or interest. The horrors of P, a highly addictive drug, gang-related in its distribution, and thereby the evil starts. The cost to New Zealand is, I understand, estimated to be $1 billion turnover. And we heard from earlier speakers that this particular plague affects all stratas of New Zealand society. Strata I, according to my colleague who's just helping me with my Latin. I think it is strata myself. Let's just say it affects every part of New Zealand society, and that's the worst thing. I remember having been so proud that New Zealand is free of all sorts of bribery and corruption. I remember it being said that when you're dealing with drugs, you could be offering someone a year's salary to shut their eyes to malpractice and bad practice. And so it's very hard to think that this evil can't penetrate everywhere. This bill, Mr. Speaker, seeks to restrict the methamphetamine precursors. The police estimate that 30% of P in New Zealand comes from these. Professor Gluckman states evidence showing that an alternative, phenylephrine, is a safe alternative that is already used in up to 3/4 of cold and flu medication. I remember when this whole business started, there was concern that we would be taking cold medicines and others off the shelves. That won't be necessary. It won't be to remove these medications. It'll just change their manufacture, and that'll be a good thing if it curtails the opportunity of these P lab producers. It carries an 8-year jail sentence for offences, Mr. Speaker, so this demonstrates that it is not being taken lightly by this government. I was so proud when the Prime Minister announced that we would be declaring what amounts to a condition, a state of war against people who peddle these things. Protecting the innocent, the easily led, the improvident, and the sad cases of the already addicted. We also, under this legislation, are looking to introduce better rehabilitation, and that's a necessary part of helping those who've already fallen into this difficult cycle. I personally, Mr. Speaker, have no experience of drugs at all, beyond tobacco and alcohol. I have, though, a sense of sorrow. No, but I haven't, and it's just by chance. But I have absolute sorrow and sympathy for people who are addicted. And I have nothing but contempt and disgust for those who are involved in transacting the sale of it. And, Mr. Speaker, they should feel the full force of the law. Thank you.
Call Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr.